There's tons of research that shows if we try to impose our value system or change someone's emotional experience to argue against their emotional experience, it only entrenches them more into their opinions. And so we can't force someone to change their value system. So when she comes to you and opens these things and she's anxious, I would say, thank you so much for bringing this to me. It shows me that you trust me and that you're open and you're vulnerable with me. And I love seeing how you bloom for me like this when you come open these emotions to me. Even if they're embarrassing, even if they're hurtful or they're joyous, you bring your feelings to me. And I love that about you. So that's the praise when she's opening to you. You're not here to chastise her. So what do I do now? How do I take the lead and support her without appearing controlling? She had postpartum depression after childbirth and she never sought therapy. You encouraged her to get help, which she refused to do. And then years later, she said, I didn't do anything when she needed me to. So when a woman says, you didn't do anything back when I needed help, okay, that could literally be nothing about you at all. That could be her own projection of her feeling bad about the stories from the past and the hurt that she's carried forward. It could have something to do with you in that maybe you weren't emotionally supportive when she was going through this time overall, right? I wasn't there, I don't know. But overall, maybe you weren't awesome at healing her, blooming her, praising the positive, being emotionally supportive back when after she was pregnant. You didn't do anything. Okay, that's a bookend. And a bookend, as I frame it with a woman, is she makes an assertion and then puts you into her frame the way she's wanting to frame you by projecting or blaming or whatever. You are never, as a mature, grounded, kingly man, you are never going to abide by another person's bookend. Certainly not your woman's assertion of a bookend. Because if she can put you into a frame that you then accept, then you're not leading. And she's more in the masculine, and she'll instinctually be turned off by that. Like, she does not want to be the one setting frame in a romantic lover relationship. That's completely against what's going to be instinctually desirous within polarity in an intimate, loving relationship. Maybe you made mistakes in the past. Maybe your skills weren't so great. Maybe it had nothing to do with you, and she's just remembering that shitty time. So you're her lover, and you praise what you see, and you praise into existence more of what you want. Go back to her and say, hey, I was thinking about this, and it's really important to me. I so love that you opened to me and shared yourself with me the way you did on Tuesday. And even the painful things underneath, like, I want you to bring those to me, so thank you. Right? That's the praising. That's the praising her opening. Opening in good things, joy, connection, jobs, awesome. Opening in pain and embarrassment and things she wants to change, great, fantastic. Those are both feminine openings. So that's one side of the polarized lover. And the other is knowing the hills you're willing to die on, knowing what your boundaries are. Okay, boundaries in a moment, potentially. A moment might be a safety boundary, like an emergency. And over time, like a relationship boundary. So for you obviously don't want the marriage to continue with a lack of intimacy and such. And that's what it's what you're learning, and I'm leading you to do. So that's a hill you're willing to die on overarchingly, chronically in the relationship. If you decide, as we've talked about, another hill you're willing to die on is her coming home trashed, blackout, then that's a boundary that you set. Blackout, drunk, and vomited everywhere, and you don't even remember what happened, right? Like, I cleaned up vomit twice in the middle of the night, and it was like not okay. And this is not okay with me. That cannot happen with me. Okay? I'm not okay with blank behavior. I'm not okay with that. This cannot happen with me. Okay, that's how you set a boundary. You don't say, you don't threaten like, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna leave you. You just say, that's not okay with me. Praise the opening and know the hills that you're willing to die on. It's the praising when she blooms. It's the going back a few days later if it's super deep blooming that she's done, and praising her again like this. And it's the knowing the hills you're willing to die on, and everything else is water under the bridge.